Hey folks, welcome to week 6. So we have our final edited essay 1 on music therapy due. Um, Final deadline for that Sunday night. So, right, use your peer review, use my feedback, and get that essay in. And now we're pivoting and turning to our next essay, right? And the topic for that, right, the class chose TV studies. So we're going to analyze a TV show for our next essay. We'll look at a clip in a moment. So, the discussion this week is all about brainstorming, generating ideas, claims, arguments, things to say, right? Ways to come in, ways to add something new, right? There's been a lot written about, well, very popular TV. There's a lot written about Friends. There's a lot written about ER. There's a lot written about, Special Victims Unit. So, what can you say? What can you add that's new? What new angle can you make on a TV show? So I have a lot of readings this week that really should help or inspire or give you an angle or a way in. Okay, so you've got the problem statements, the types of claims. So take a look at those. These are in the discussion, right? I ask you to find a problem in a TV show, okay? So start thinking about, first step is you have to pick a TV show, folks. Try to pick a current one, right? Less people have written about current TV shows than about Friends, right? There's like 100,000 articles on Friends, okay? So take a look at these problem statements, and I'll sort of, I'll give an example of a problem statement. And hopefully, so a problem statement, right? This is going to let you sort of go from what we know about something, like, facts about a TV show to, something that we need to give a closer look to, right? Or, moving away from a fact, right? Here's the facts about the Big Bang, right? They follow a group of nerds. There's women scientists on it, right? But what we don't know is, well, how are women scientists actually portrayed on the Big Bang? Is it different from the male scientists? Well, yes, actually it is. And there's been several articles written on that, right? So this is what I mean by the problem statement, right? Or, pick a current show. Most people believe that The Mandalorian, right, is a Star Wars, action, drama TV show. It's about an evil empire and good individuals fighting back. But a closer look will show that, well, The Mandalorian is really about this interesting and maybe new representation of fatherhood, right? That fatherhood is heroic, right? It looks at fatherhood in a very interesting way between him and his adopted son of Baby Yoda, right? So that's me using these problem statements. If we don't understand fatherhood in The Mandalorian, we won't understand how, fatherhood is now being sold to us as like heroic, right? Which is, it's problematic, right? Like you don't have to be, a laser slinging Mandalorian to be a father, right? Like you don't have to be this very physically powerful person to be a father. So I think it's a very interesting portrayal of father. It's problematic. So I'm just using these problem statements to help me move from this is what we know, this is the facts about this show, this is obvious, to okay, this is something less obvious, or this is a problem, right? The representation of women scientists, or representation of police or policing in kids shows like Paw Patrol, right? Most people believe that Paw Patrol is just a kids show, right? It's a kids animated comedy show, but a closer look will show that it really is projecting ideas about cops and policing, right? And ignoring like the harsh realities of policing, right? So that's what I mean by like you need to find a problem or a social issue in a TV show and use these problem statements to do so. And this is part of your discussion. So let's look at sort of the full discussion this week. Think of it as just this is a big brainstorming activity, right? So what questions, concerns, or comments do you have about the prompt for our TV Studies editorial? We'll look at that in a second. read our 2 articles this week on on TV shows that break down TV shows. Um, Respond to those articles. Find a source, right, on a TV show, right? This could be a newspaper article, an essay, or a book chapter. Um, Folks, like one way to work to get your source is you can go to Google Scholar, right? Not Google Chair. That is like always coming up now when I try to put in Google Scholar. So if I'm on Google Scholar, I'm looking for, I would spell out television first of all. I might do TV. I might do sitcom. I might do drama. Right? And I'm going to get a bunch of stuff, right? Television drama. I could put in Spanish language, right? Let's say I want to do a Spanish. So I've got Spanish screen fiction, drama without drama, Spanish cinema and television, and right. So I could do one of these is going to help me with talking about Spanish language TV shows, right? So that's one way to work. So find a source, right, talking about TV, and if you can be really specific. Let's say I want to do television, TV sitcom. Like I'm really interested in like laughter, right, on TV. Oh, look, there's stuff on laughter, right? Nervous laughter, television situation comedy, laughing together, and laugh tracks. Okay, this is fascinating, right? I watched The Big Bang. I know there's a laugh track, right? So I'll read through, I'll read through this, and I actually have read this. So this one's fascinating. It's like these laugh tracks, right? They get us all to basically laugh at the same time or to see certain things as funny, right? To see jokes and jokes about people as funny. So I'm like, okay, how can I apply this article to The Big Bang, right? This show doesn't talk about The Big Bang TV show. This article talks about another show. So I could do, hey, Coco, I could do an application claim. I could be like, okay, I want to apply these ideas to a new show that this article doesn't talk about. That's a great way to work. That's a great way to create new knowledge, right? It's called applying or application, right? I'm going to apply these theories about laugh tracks, sort of coercing people to laugh at other people, right? Other groups. And I'm going to apply this to a new show that they don't talk about. I'm going to extend the knowledge. So I'm going to apply this. Coco, calm down. I'm going to apply this to The Big Bang or any other show like Friends that uses a laugh track, right? Lots of shows use laugh tracks. So that's a great way to work for this paper is find an article that talks about, maybe one show and apply it to a new show, like a current show that maybe just came out, right? Like The Politician. Okay. So that is find an article, pick a TV show you want to understand better, right? So folks, you got to pick a show. Think of this as your text. For this next paper, you need to have a show, right? What show are you going to analyze? Are you going to do The Last of Us, Star Trek Picard, Yellow Jackets, The Politician? Which show, right? Blackish. Pick a show. I would definitely focus on like a season. You can't focus on the whole show in a short paper. So maybe, season 1 or season 2. Then we get into making claims about your show. We've done these before, claims of definition, claims of cause, so take a look at that. Then moving into the problem statements, right? I want you to start identifying a problem in a TV show, right? TVs represent society, they represent us, right? So they're representing the good, the bad, the ugly. So find a problem and try to move beyond stereotypes. Folks, all shows have stereotypes. Like that's a fact, okay? So it's got to be more than like, well, this show has a stereotype, right? So push past that. Dig deeper, be more specific, right? The Big Bang has a specific stereotype of women scientists, right? That's a little more specific than the show has stereotypes. Okay, so let me give you an example of how I might use a problem statement or how I might pick a show, right? Our reading this week is on Law and Order SUV. That's one of our readings. So I'm going to play a clip. This is like 30 seconds, folks. And watch how, right, you have the main detective, Olivia, right? She's very sympathetically portrayed. They talk about, her life. She's a very sympathetic character. And she's about to violate this guy's civil rights violations by hitting him and forcing a confession, right? Like, you can't do this, right? Like what she's about to do. And she's not held accountable. And so our article this week talks about moments like this, right? Where on TV, police are often represented breaking civil rights violations or violating human rights and then getting away with it. And then the article is like, okay, this really creates perceptions and attitudes about policing in real life, right? You can't say like shows like this force us to believe things, but the research is in. Shows like this definitely affect us. They shape our perceptions, they shape our beliefs about policing or attitudes around policing, right? But they don't make us believe them, right? Does that make sense? So in your paper, you're not going to say they make us believe, but the research is in. It is proven that they can shape, they can influence perception. They don't make us do anything. Like no one goes out and does horrible things after watching a TV show, right? But they do shape our perceptions. So take a look at this clip. This is a great example of, a show you might, quote in your paper, a scene you might dissect. Okay, here goes.
Yeah, you like your women at knife point? Those big boys in prison are gonna love your prissy pervert ass up there, huh?
No, I get it. I get it now. You got a thing for perverts. Is that why you do sex crimes? Someone diddle you when you were a kid? Daddy's little girl.
You bastard, tell me you raped. You raped them, didn't you? Huh? Right? You raped them, right? Just admit it.
Please, right? Get it, yeah. Let's get off.
Get off me!
So, right, folks, there's some, she curses. There's some really strong language there. So this is a great scene to show, okay, the detective seems to be violating, right, their, this potential perpetrator's civil rights, right? She's not held accountable. They take her away. They give her a talking to, and then she goes back to her job, right? So this is a really interesting scene to analyze. Our reading this week, right, points at moments like this in Law and Order SUV as exactly these civil rights violations. Who's seen as a victim? Who's allowed to be a victim? So the problem here is, okay, representations of, detectives and police who violate civil rights, violate civil rights, and then get away with it, and the effect that might have on people watching. Right? You can't prove that it's forcing people to believe anything, but it might have an effect, right? So that's how TV is often talked about. There's a consensus on that with writers and researchers. They talk about effects on perceptions or effects on behaviors or effects on beliefs, right? But it's not forcing anyone to do anything. Okay, so that is just a little taste of sort of what TV looks like, TV studies looks like, TV studies feels like. And then, right, lastly, you have this great prompt to look at. So the prompt for this week, right, is here. Take a look at that. Essentially, you're making an argument about a TV show, right? So read through the prompt. And if you have any questions, put your questions about the prompt in the discussion, right? That's a great place to ask any questions. Okay, folks. Thank you. If you have any questions, email me, and I'm always available for office hours. Thank you.